Hey, what's up, YouTube? Doing a quick update on the Grom, and I want to show you one thing I added uh, yesterday that's been bugging me for a while, and I was trying to figure out a solution for it. Was these foot pegs, the position of the stock foot pegs. That really irritated me, how low these things were and how much they'd scrape. As you can see, this bolt is scraped to shit. How much they'd scrape without even achieving that great of a lean angle. So you can see I've got like a finger width on this tire that's unscrubbed. So just trying to figure out how to take care of that without spending $400 or $500 on a pair of rear sets. In the past, I've never really felt the need to buy rear sets for any of my motorcycles. Granted, they all came with high rear sets from the factory, but nevertheless, it just felt like kind of a waste of money at this point, when it could be solved in a numerous amount of ways. So I looked and looked on the internet for a while, and I finally found these things in a forum. They're eBay specials, I guess. I'm assuming they're from China. They go by the name of multi-position adjustable foot pegs for the Honda Grom MSX 125, and they're $25. Can't really beat that. The machining quality is great. They're sturdy. They're adjustable. This thing's about to fall off because I forgot to put Loctite on this screw here. Good thing I noticed that. Yeah, I stood on one and jumped up and down. I'm 165 pounds, and I felt sturdy. So yeah, it's working out good so far. I've only gotten one ride with it, so we'll see. One thing I was concerned about was the adjustability of these foot levers, though, the brake and the gear shift. But I was able to remove the spline here on the gear shift and turn it one notch, and that was enough to raise this up so that it feels just like stock. Granted, the distance between the lever and the peg is more now, but that's not a big deal. I wear a 10.5 boot, and it feels fine. I'm not stretching to shift gears. It feels completely natural. And one thing I actually did was I went to my Daytona here, and I took some measurements from the foot peg to the floor here, and then from the foot peg to the actual levers, and I tried to match that on the Grom, and I got as close as I can, but there's limitations to the adjustability on the Grom's levers. So the brake was a little more involved. I had to remove the rear set here, and I had to remove the rear master cylinder from the rear set, and then you're able to remove a lock nut holding the end of the part of the master cylinder that attaches to the brake lever. And then once you remove that lock nut, you can unscrew it to lengthen the distance from the point it attaches to the lever to the point where the master cylinder is. So basically, you're lengthening the master cylinder, which allows you to raise this rear brake lever. And at this point here, this is the highest I could get it. There's not enough thread on that stud to go any higher at this point, but here it's perfect. Feels completely natural using the rear brake. The only issue now is that the return spring on the rear brake is not short enough, small enough, I guess. So I'll just run over to the hardware store tomorrow and pick one up that's a little shorter, so I can get this thing up higher. And from the factory, this return spring is super strong for no reason. So maybe they'll give me an opportunity to get a lighter weight spring. So yeah, that's something you guys can look into. I'll leave the description, or I'll leave the link in the description for where to get these foot pegs. Like I said, they've got 50, 40, 30, and 20 mil versions. I went with the biggest one. So yeah, check it out. I also added some rim tape. I always do this to all my bikes because I remove all the reflectors from them, and I feel like this is a subtle way to add some reflection back into the bike, and it looks pretty sweet. Yeah, that's about it. All right, take it easy.